brung for your gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, in exchange for a chance to see heaven. Yeah, I'd replace it with the world. Said I've done what I wanted for all this time, until I lost interest. What effort that it takes just to make this all a blur. Till me mix different chemicals, trying to find a magic bullet. Was I thinking that amphetamines would fix my head again? Except the dopamine hasn't regulated anything. Said what effort that is left, you will break in half. Even at my best, time slips through my hands. Even at my worst, or at least it's what you said. For a chance to see heaven, what else you have to give, I'll bring to you. Ivory and weaponry, the best that I can get for you. I had to remember I wasn't who I thought I was. If only I could forget, truly I brung gifts of gold, diamonds, and broken jewelry. Recipes of chemically induced remedies for your enjoyment, buried with fermented fruits and other poisons with good intentions of making an antidote for us all to fix. Whatever takes my breath away, looking for whatever is my next influx of dopamine. Said whatever that I've had, I've only broken half. Even at my best, time slips through my hands. Even at my worst, you forgive me for who I am. For a chance to see heaven, I give all that I have. Was I afraid I wasn't enough because you are made of ivory and gold? What else do I have to do to lose interest in doing anything I want? I give anything to you, to only gain the world, to only lose my soul. But it's all I've ever wanted, was to get lost in. That I wanna feel this ocean, I wanna feel the winds picking up everything underneath my step. Not everything has to make sense now, does it? I don't wanna change weather with the snap of a finger like I once thought I wanted to. But they've said there's something in the sunset looking back, something above us that you could ask. But I was a moon, always pulling back, an immovable object, waiting for you to crash into my impact. Lately has been deceiving as a portrait, painted in the attic, changing, written on my sins, embroidered, tailored, finally fit into heaven. Well, I hope so. Ain't you hopeful? Ain't it meant for someone closer to God with less fuck up, someone more tuned to the word of God to preach the gospel? Said I couldn't help from falling just for the feeling of I was just searching for a rush, but I think I found it in this. I wanna feel the waves go against the tides underneath my step. I've been finding the depths, but the moonlight takes my mind from the sunrise. What it's like when I don't find the view I've been chasing on my own now, chasing light. Though I wanna feel the winds throwing everything underneath my step. I've been trying my best to have faith, but they've said somewhere there's heaven behind the Dorian Gray, just waiting behind precious stones and golden rose paved with diamonds, sapphires, and emeralds. But I'd rather feel the ocean. I wanna feel the winds picking up everything underneath my step, just to watch lightning come from the heavens. I couldn't help from falling just for the feeling of it. I couldn't help from falling just for the feeling. I couldn't help from falling just for the feeling of it. I couldn't help from falling just for the feeling. Is granted, it's more than what you got. Give me something I don't have yet, for this portrait to grow for me. Recording all my sins that I've forgotten, all the consequences that I've let in. I traded what's good for temporary bliss, never-ending poison, a moment of ignorance. But I'm willing to take that risk, so give me all that life has to offer. in case this is all there is. Is that what you want? For all your wishes granted, you change too often, like none of this matters at all. I don't wanna be anymore, or I'll do all that you want. I don't know how I should right these wrongs. I'm becoming a martyr to the sins I've won. I rarely hit my chances by anything anyone says, so don't spare me the theatrics. I'm waiting on every word that you said, so persuade me in your acting. Make me believe it's some escape. Overflowing in poisons, waiting on a voice that never sings. So what do you desire? The devil's stand is too kind. It's not only stole my soul, but the life I left behind. So give me what you got, even if it isn't what I wanted. Tricked by what I thought it was. What else do I have left to offer? But this portrait on the wall that bears the semblance to everything wrong, with this knife-seeking blood, I don't wanna feel anymore. So prove me wrong, and I'll be what you want me to be. Overflowing the poisons, waiting on a voice. Was something that I love, but it's killed me inside. It isn't deep, just pretentious. Something sweet like sugar found a heathen isn't a temptation. Waywardly, drastically cautious, now you've got me. I've let heathens into saints and introduce new vices. That something sweet can be so intoxicating, I wanna be this. Inebriated, sedated, saturated, numb to everything, so elated and elevated, so they seem to disappear. Or was I really there? If it's all just lights and mirrors, reminder that everything is fading and I will. Elusive, bittersweet illusions that I would chase, and I've spent time trying to fix things elusive, bittersweet. I got used to the taste of something pure as water, can become toxic. I'll offer you one if you want it. I keep it in abundance in case I start to come down. Instead I fell in love with delusions, flight and sound, fading into the background of it. That something sweet can be so devastating and it's overtaken as a temptation. Whoa, my tolerance it plays against me yet. Still I've landed only a few times lately, so calculated and saturated. Will you masquerade like you're not a charlatan? It isn't deep, just pretentious. That something sweet is free, for you has been forbidden. It isn't sweet, just deceptive. We're just playing out our parts and acting like we aren't, facelessly tricked by the devil. That persuasion is an art that's best taken for granted, and I've spent time trying to fix things, these elusive, deceiving illusions that everything's predetermined, and I've spent time trying to fix things, these elusive, bittersweet illusions that I would face, and I've spent time trying to fix things, this elusive, bittersweet illusion that I would chase, and I've spent time trying to fix things, this elusive, bittersweet reminder that everything is fading, and I will. What was waiting? We was taking anything. We was just waiting for the ending. Still I'm just chilling in perspective. Maybe I shouldn't have taken everything that I was given. God forgive me, the snakes and temper, fuck it up. Look at us, losing touch, illusions all as usually. All we wanted was to use it all. So roll it, smoke it, going. But back before we got high, we was losing track of time. with the world there at our steps. Somewhere I slipped on by us, it wouldn't even cross our minds. Fuck that, take it if you want it, had to take it if you want it. We was taking anything, we was just waiting for the end. Still I'm chillin', I'm just chillin', still I'm getting pretty faded. Misery ups celebrations, sometimes I miss the traffic calling, knocking at the window, 6 o'clock in the morning. Snakes and tempo waiting for me, angels, devils are perfect. With the world they're at its ends, with the world they're at its end, they're waiting somewhere slipped on by us. With this sleight of hand, fuck that, take it if you want it. Knew I'd take it and not get higher, no I had to change perspective, otherwise my temptations would evict. God forgive me, I miss the re-ups, and the highs that I still dream of. Miss the smoke that you exhaled out, and the toxins that I breathe, and deceptive thoughts that I believed in. When I got high, I have more feelings. Now that I've come down, I don't feel them. Seems like that's what it's been most recent. Another low dose of these dopamine hits, another relapse for another reason. I've been impaired now for some weeks now. It's been making me feel decent. Still I'm coming from a decent falling just the experience. Think it's over, then it resets. Forgetting everything that we've said. These things still tempt me. Following snakes and tempo, try to change perspective, but the less I let go, nostalgia mixed with ego. Maybe it's all placebo, cutting ties with people. Otherwise my temptations would evict me, God forgive me. Following snakes and tempo, following snakes and tempo. So I've locked in my profits, I've sold you on that lost bet. I've bet against the offsets and won, but it wasn't the rush I wanted, so I've gambled against the sun, that it wouldn't burn everything it touches. So retell me all the right words, that its flames are worth combustion, that it would consume everything it loved, that these stars will self-destruct, retaliates to reconsume, that aligns with me all too well. Retrogrades and rising moons, with my failed attempts to read the stars. My arrows aim to the constellations, hoping anything will leave its mark. So I'll gamble against these collisions, shuffling photons, dreams and dust, just to see what beauty bleeds in them, and whether chaos answers trust. To see if time will break its commitment, or if the void will call my bluff, to test if light will hold its shape, or if I can bend it to what I want. So I've divided energy against itself. I'm curious of its consequences, are countermeasures against someone willing to risk it all just to catch a glimpse of heaven. If only for a moment, a little clearer, a little brighter, a little closer, and I'll be reaching for a shadow. So I gamble against the cosmos. I'm all in with borrowed starlight, I'll empty time and double down on entropy and uncertain fault lines, stacking odds on made up star signs, offers a bit of solace on my downtime. The what if that we discuss why there was water in the bloodline, with toxins and corrupted enzymes I've twisted and burned through timelines. Alas, to attain heaven, that I've been constantly comparing to where I've been. I've excelled within these divisions, seeking contrast nice with the hell I've seen. I play my hands with borrowed sins, roll chaos like it was a loaded gun. So I've wagered against the sun that I would only burn everything it loved. I bet it all changed. So I'll keep on turning lead into gold, just to see what chaos will give me in return. Entertainment, angels, I made them up for you as only shapes and angles. I made a fool of the world, so I'll keep on stomping down this mountain till it's nothing, till its value isn't worth what it was when I found it. To break and burn and observe the skies while they're clouded seems I'm only in the present moment if I'm hypnotized by some fire. So entertainment, faithful, dance within the sands again. I've gotten bored with brandishing scorpion salt pills for your sacrificial offerings and artificial penances. I've elevated and crowned jealousy is sacred, and I've hardened the hearts of kings that didn't meet my expectations. So call my name in case I've forgotten it. Build your towers into heaven, because nothing's ever gotten there. So build your archways and your altars in the garden with golden boxes. Tell yourself that God is there. I've dressed myself in gold, froze reason scarlet with holy water. Gold chains, bells, and pomegranates. Give me the best you have to offer. Which aroma am I calling for? Think a little test of faith is something that I want from you. So entertain me, Malibu, impress me in your derangement. Scorching what is valuable, for which smoke is my favorite. I made the winds for you to chase them, so emulate the angels. Parlay within the chaos, baby, everything's for sale now, ain't it? Clap and applaud my pillaged splendor and diamond treasures. Gold, fine linen, bronze, and silver with decorative cherubim, deceptive. Hidden in the guise of a sweet wand, tempting you with intoxication of spiritual awareness. I am a perilous swamp where the lions take their peace in the bare swamp bluff, where the sinners don't sleep. Lake of fire, acid floods, where the water reaches mountain peaks as it drowns the world below it. Sing for me, Seraphim. Gamble with me, devils, aberrations of aeons, masquerading as divinity. I've adorned jealous holy, masked heaven where you wouldn't see it. I crowned the tree of life with thorns and banished Adam out of Eden. The stars and planets align for me. I've gotten bored of distorting and shaping them to my will, convincing you aren't the source. So prove to me that your discernment is more important, and I'll hang the tree of life over your head as you're reaching for it. Blige me my inheritance, I'll remind you your comeuppance. So follow me and I'll give you apocalyptic imagery, the knowledge of good and evil brings revelations and epiphanies. Prophetic soliloquies of holy wars over religious beliefs. I am perilous swamp where the fire is alive and it follows where you are, where the sinners don't sleep. Lake of fire as it floods and the preachers all reach for, but don't make it very far. So pledge with me flesh and blood, I'll tempt you with stones and offer kingdoms to you. If you bend the knee to me, so entertain me. Faith, it's what you're made for. Emulate the angels, praise the chaos that I've created. I made the winds for you to chase them. A worthless promise for those who try to have it, because they like the way it sounded. I am that I am, a divine spark, convincing you that you aren't. So read my fate to me, and I'll act like I believe it. I branded my wrists in gold, search the words for meanings, decode, encode, decompose. Sometimes it's difficult to see the significance of this. I've been absent of meaning till I've convinced myself that maybe that's the meaning. So wash over me your ideologies and insufferable explanations. I'm decades in my decadence, my faith isn't impermanent. So I bound myself in endurance till my sins disenchant me, and I'm looking for more of them. Like its glimmer doesn't mean as much as before I had it. Of course it did, I'd rather anything that gets me high instead. My wings are only for show, but this view no longer feels like home to me. My sins like fire, most of it is broken porcelain, alive like dead stars, condensed into organisms. Sometimes it's difficult to see the significance of this. I've convinced myself the universe is performative, and I'm just here to witness it, persuasive and persistent. Superfied, reincarnated hopelessness. Even angels get tired of pointing at doors I can't open. So what's your reason? That your demons never leave you, that your black and whites are see-through, that your highs and lows mislead you. I've been illusory and deceitful, beautiful view that's lost its meaning, indulgent nor indifference. Neither path has brought enlightenment. Still no amount of colors could mix in that saturation with heaven and hell that's in its canvas. They're beginning to look the same, and it's fine, we don't always have to live in black or white, or the brightest colors all the time. I prefer shadows and inverted lines, or rather anything that gets me high instead. I've used my wings for show, and it's got me anything I've ever wanted. So I'll burn my sins alive within hedonism and nihilism is where I'm most comfortable, looking into the void at Somewhere in the sacrifice of stars was I fated to acknowledge that what we think is ours only fractures into parts. So dissolve me in your ideologies, introduce me into oblivion. If I can't have absolutes, then I'll take it and make it obsolete. It's nothing more than beautiful destruction and borrowed carbon. The flames will arrive at my door the morning I've set myself up. It's nothing more than a fallen star that I became a part of, misplaced within disorder, with my sins collecting dust. A fragment of collapse, I've been an inevitable crash. Somewhere in me that ember's burning, somewhere I'll have to give it back. So read my fate to me, and I'll act like I believe it. I branded my wrists in gold, search for words for meaning. What's the reason? My sins have finally outweighed my prayers. So what else around me represents dissolution so well for an iota of happiness? I've corrupted the pantheons by introducing something tragic. So come now, remind me of my caliber. Load your ammunition up and I'll drag your gods down with us. Blasphemy so you feel you're falling gracefully, and that everything hasn't happened accidentally, like there's some sort of meaning behind anything. Forever sounds exhausting, I feel sorry for those who get it. Anything that promises artificial heavens having devils, but that's the hell I felt for. Forever is what I asked for. Anything that promises artificial heavens make me skeptical. What else is offered me? Lazarite, sapphires and rubies. Anything that's too good to be true sounds too familiar to me. Tell me what I want to hear. Reveal its matrix and its quanta. How atoms react to atoms. How to manifest anything out of nothing for an iota of happiness. I've crashed into the pantheons and tested their absence, cut them into facets. So what if Mount Olympus is only entertained with Shakespearean endings that are timelessly well written, flawlessly cut diamonds, unblemished, Akkadic materialism, or rather opal pendants, rough gems to still have some hope left in them at this point. I'll take carrots over clarity, make anything out of nothing, and nothing out of kerosene. To compete or be forgotten, have I written every word? Have I reached for eternal life to only be stricken down by lightning? Yes, so come down, remind me of my caliber. Leave me what I'm asking for, not appreciate the value of it. So I'll set the highest standards for theistic gambles and its activists, religious practices and its gamblers. Yours convinced as your actions are. So come now, show me something magical, conjure something tangible. So what I give a fuck if Mount Olympus is looking down on us, way on me. Your love is cumbersome, and I've dragged them to the ground for what's the traits of God if they're not held accountable for them. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I'd rather not be around for it. Forever isn't for us, like a reminder of every burden that you've carried that you wouldn't see inside heaven. So what if Mount Olympus doesn't apply for Odysseus, but we'd rather watch Sisyphus push rocks for a living? So dilute and dissolve your Iliads and your Odysseys, containing God within pages that run out of ink. Define its traits locked in place, all of its imperfect qualities, to compete or be forgotten, to be or not to be, via Negativa. All for your Shakespearean endings with perfectly fucked up tragedies. In any order that has brought me to any prophets. Defy gods methodically, I mythologized its darkness, romanticize nothingness. So light is consumed and finite. We believe that's all there is. Be tricked by its twilight, sunsets and sunrises. So I've desensitized my faith that it will cover up the sun, that it will fade the light below it, that I wake up and it be gone. My transcendence through impulsive acts of divine restlessness. But if I dig a little deeper, all this meaning loses purpose. All this searching becomes soulless. All this collecting becomes worthless. All this combinations of words become redundant, useless. Though I speak them with conviction, so lead me misery and sin and temperance, so inebriance and permanence and sentiment. Through regolith and perserate, I found that no amount of self-worth bullshit validation was enough to save myself. So I cut my tongue with ambrosia, spoiling all my teeth. I've dipped in mercury my ammunition. I've drowned my angels and my demons not as deep. I don't give my light to anything. I mythologize the moon, the only light that's real is reflecting in this room. Yet none of these patterns of words has given me any solace. It's all for show. I haven't thought about tomorrow. See, I count my days by nights. It's where I've learned my defiance. I've offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality I expected with Ambrosia. Writhing in perfectionism, I shine the reflection of your light back into your eyes of self-awareness. I transcend with impulsive acts of divine restlessness. If it all becomes one, it all becomes senselessness. I'll dine with the gods and feast off their plates. If it will satiate their need for attention that they crave. What good is a gift of turning wine into water if it's all just divine fodder? Food rotting for the gods, so leave me transient, disparate, and wanting a little bit more. Tell me if a bullet to the temple becomes holier if I'm the one who loaded up the gun with ambrosia, rotting and cutting up my tongue. I mythologized the moon that it would turn its back against the sun. I did this all for self, not for what was offered to me. There's been no order of any words that has given me any profit, no quality of art that has left me breathless and feeling like I'm a part of something. I've offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality I expected. Well, mercury tipped bullets and a glimpse of existence. You want ambrosia, writhing your divine perfectionism. Well, here it is, has been rotting on my teeth. Yet everything I touch only turns to mercury. Nothing has looked the same to me. Charred into shades of gray and amber what used to be blues and greens. Yet how have you taken away my love and luck from under my feet? Your colors are culling my wings, has lifted me up to drop. So I'll sink and think of it as falling. You're circling above as I reach out of water, so close in my poisons in hopes that it drags me under, in hopes that it drags me. For some release from this feeling of flying, of dying without wings. I'm tired of doubting that I've been trying, so I drink my sins in bleach for its familiar taste of bliss, in hopes that it tastes as sweet, or if it's just another trick. Though my love, my wonder has been fading out of everything I once thought I wanted. Am I just another fucking pawn with this twisted thread of fate barely hanging on? So I'll sink and think of it as falling. What's another bottomless pit to fall into, with poison, spit, and vomit? Cue the curtain call in tragic chorus, a final round of applause. Held down by your love. It's obvious I fell for it. So sing, pray, say the word, and I'll be there performing every goddamn line, convinced, compelling you there's nothing else but this. I'll break my wings if it's your touch that I've been waiting on. It doesn't mean a thing that you say it does. So don't be cruel to me because I love you better than anything in the world. To be held down for my love for you, circling above, just out of reach, like I'm spellbound under something new. It's worrisome with an ending that's not as sweet. So lull me into sin, as convincing as you are has only been a contradiction to me. What good is a fate if the only bliss is an endless void disguised as holiness? A poisonous filth hidden on your lips, like some higher power let me hear into your loneliness. So I've sunken, the thought of it is falling, predetermined to bleed into your colors. Now I only see the skies as endless, as the sun rises but just as empty. So I've dosed my blood in hopes for some release from this feeling of flying, of dying without wings. I'm tired of doubting that I've been